An attack at House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home. We have the details. A busy intersection in Norman is under construction. The streets you'll want to avoid coming up, and hear how Native Americans are being celebrated in Oklahoma. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Amaya Ward.
And I'm Olivia Dauge. We begin tonight with a violent attack inside the home of Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
It happened in the middle of the night when police say a man broke into her California home. OU Nightly's Noah Mack is in the newsroom with this breaking story.
Amaya and Olivia, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband is in the hospital tonight, and the man accused of attacking him is in jail. Police say Paul Pelosi was assaulted around 2:30 a.m. after an intruder broke into their home yelling, "Where is Nancy?" Investigators say Mr. Pelosi confronted the intruder with a hammer, but the man grabbed it from him and began using it to hit Pelosi repeatedly. The suspect has been identified as 42-year-old David DePepe, who is reportedly from Berkeley, California. CNN reporters say he grew up in British Columbia. DePepe is in jail tonight facing charges of attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, and elder abuse, among other charges. The attack brings attention to the safety of members of Congress just 11 days before the midterm elections. Leaders on both sides of the aisle said they're disgusted and appalled by the attack. Amaya, Olivia.
Thanks, Noah. A gloomy day today.
What can we expect for those Halloween parties tonight? Peyton Galyean has a first look at our forecast. Peyton?
Well, Olivia, these dreary conditions are going to stick around, and coming in with that rain were these colder temperatures. You can see southern Oklahoma where that cloud coverage is still the strongest, 52 degrees down in Ardmore. And as you go throughout the rest of your night, the rain is going to return throughout the evening hours. But coming up, I'm going to time out when that rain is going to move out of the metro, out of the state of Oklahoma, the average weather pattern that is going to return for next weekend, and your trick-or-treat forecast for Monday.
Thanks, Peyton. Now, we know construction is a headache for many Norman drivers, but a city official says the end results are worth the hassle. Tyler DeLuca joins us live from Alameda Street with more. Tyler?
Yeah, we have more construction here in Norman, and Norman residents have gotten pretty accustomed to seeing these bright orange signs all across the city, but the city of Norman officials believe that the work will absolutely be worth the wait.
So we always, when we design a new road or we're doing a redevelopment of a road, we always consider the storm sewer in that. And for example, in Alameda, that was bar ditches, just ditches run along the side of the road in the urban section.
There are several main points to the construction here on Alameda and 36th Street, including having stormwater, being able to handle that a little bit better with flooding, and having additional lanes to the road. The additional lanes will be aimed to help traffic to and from the schools here in the local area. The construction here on the urban section of the road will be completed in early December, and the rural area will be completed in early spring. Reporting live here in Norman, Tyler DeLuca, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Tyler. The death toll in Iran continues to rise as security forces crack down on protesters. Brooke Kelser has that and the rest of today's international headlines from the News Center.
Iran's security intensifies and cracks down on protesters during an already brutal situation. According to a Norway-based rights group, at least 4 people were killed after security forces an open fire on protesters. There are now reports of war weapons being used by special forces who station on rooftops of local government buildings. A new round of inflation data has been released according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The personal consumption expenditures index has climbed by 0.3% from August to September, but has remained unchanged for the year. This is an encouraging development for the Federal Reserve, which is battling to lower the highest inflation in 40 years. Former Twitter executives will be receiving around $183 million from Elon Musk after being let go by him. Musk had bought the shares from 3 former executives after taking over Twitter, and they will be compensated with a year's base pay and a year's worth of health insurance. In other news, the rock and roll star Jerry Lee Lewis, who sang Great Balls of Fire, has passed away at age 87. Amaya and Olivia, back to you.
Thanks, Brooke. Coming up, you have the chance to win free tickets to watch the OKC Thunder.
That's right. Find out how you can visit the museum, how your visit can land you at the Paycom Center.
And the Sooner football team is on the road this weekend.
Our Big Friday sports team will have all the information you need to know when we come back. First Americans Museum is hosting a plethora of events for Native American Heritage Month in November. From kids getting in for free to portraits for veterans, there will be plenty of reasons to go to FAM if you haven't yet or want to go again. For Veterans Day, they are doing free veterans portraits for Native American veterans to honor those who served. Starting in November, on certain days, kids will be able to get in for free. You can even get free OKC Thunder tickets. Make sure to stop by FAM during the month of November and learn about Native American Heritage Month.
The spooky season is coming to a close, but parents, if you plan on taking your kids out, Norman has a few safety tips. The city says to trick or treat in your neighborhood, travel in well-lit areas, and to wear bright colors where possible. Norman Community Halloween starts Monday at 5 p.m. and lasts until 8 p.m.
And on the South Oval, it's crimson and cream mums as far as you can see, but we have something you may not have noticed if you were walking to class.
No more allergies, still in drought, football forecasts, and everything in between. Peyton, what can you tell us about weather next?
Well, tonight it's not going to be very nice, but I'll tell you when that rain moves out for you to enjoy your weekend. Welcome back to OU Nightly, and taking a look at the South Oval right now, the only thing that's very colorful right now is these crimson and cream mums that are almost in full bloom because this cloudy sky that is bringing those on and off rain chances are still relevant. 57 degrees, very cloudy skies here in Norman. Across the rest of the metro, 50s, and you can see up towards Stillwater where they don't have as much cloud coverage as us, 70 degrees. You can see northeastern and northern Oklahoma is a completely different story than southern Oklahoma. We've been dealing with that rain throughout yesterday, and today it's going to persist throughout the night. But this rain has wiped out your allergies. You can see weed, tree, and mold pollen is very low levels considering the last few weeks where they've been off the charts. Grass, it's completely gone. We're going to enjoy this for a while. So this rain has not helped with the drought situation. However, I do want to mention, although the drought monitor came out this morning, this does not include any rainfall from Tuesday on. So coming next week is when we're going to see how much of a dent this rain put in the forecast, especially for southwestern Oklahoma, who got pounded yesterday. So right now, you can see the rain is in southern Oklahoma, lifting up from Texas, but throughout the night, it is going to push out of eastern Oklahoma. You're going to enjoy your Saturday and your Sunday. It's going to be clear conditions, and come Halloween, those spooky kids trick-or-treating, they're going to have clear skies in the forecast. 68 degrees walking out that door for your trick-or-treating festivities. Going to be in the 50s towards the end of the night. That sunset does set at 6:35. And if you are in Ames tomorrow, cheering on the Sooners as they take on the Cyclones, be sure to grab that jacket. 41 degrees for those tailgating festivities, but warming up into the 60s by the latter half of the game. And if you're not in Ames tomorrow, you can head out to the National Weather Center for the return of the National Weather Festival from 10 to 2 tomorrow. I will be there. Much of the OU Nightly weather team will be there. Fun festivities all around. Temperatures in the 50s. More sunshine than we had today. Now going into next week, we are going to warm up a bit. Winds are going to be relatively strong, but I want to point your eye towards Friday. We do have another chance of rain coming back into the forecast. Some models are showing some intensity at times. It's really too early to tell how strong and to severe these storms can be, but definitely something we want to keep an eye on and keep you alerted for. Maya and Olivia.
Thanks, Peyton. The fall mums are near full bloom, but if you look a little closer, you might notice something out of place. In a sea of crimson and cream, there's a little spot of pink.
An OU gardener says a pink seed somehow accidentally found its way into a bag labeled white. They said last year there was an orange mum, but the pink is a little more welcome. And that's it for news, but don't worry, stick around. Big Friday Sports is next.
Our OU Nightly sports team is on the road with the Sooners. Jimmy Wicks and Parker Abels will have the insight about challenges OU faces against a powerful Iowa State defense. Parker, Jimmy.
Yeah, guys, we're here in Ames, Iowa, where tomorrow the Oklahoma Sooners are taking on the Iowa State Cyclones.
Stick around to find out more about the OU and Iowa State matchup coming up next.
Welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Brooklyn Sweet. Today we kick off with a look at what's to come in Ames tomorrow for OU football against Iowa State.
We're here to watch the Oklahoma Sooners take on the Iowa State Cyclones tomorrow here at Jack Trice Stadium. I'm Parker Abels. Alongside me is Jimmy Wicks. Jimmy, how are we feeling today?
Feeling a little chilly, a little bit windy, but I'm really excited for another weekend of football.
Yeah, it is pretty cold here, but that doesn't matter because we're excited to watch the Sooners take on a fierce Iowa State defense tomorrow. Brent Venables and company talked about what it's going to be like to face this top 10 defense.
We got the top defense in the conference. I think they're 6th in the country in scoring defense. They've done a fabulous job in the unique scheme that they have. I think they, for the categories that they lead the Big 12, that nobody's done that. Maybe ever, or in some time in the Big 12, being number 1 in the 4 major categories.
Played really, really well. Really defensively have given them a chance to win every single game they've played. So just a ton of respect for how they play, the way they play, how well they're coached, and be a great challenge for us on the road this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Dylan Gabriel and that OU offense takes on that talented Iowa State defense.
They showed some promise in that Kansas matchup, but on the other side of the ball, our own Stone Weber spoke to Woody Washington at Big 12 Media Day to preview the next season.
2022 season begins a new era for OU football under new head coach Brent Venables. I got a chance to catch up with OU cornerback Woody Washington, and he touched on what it's been like playing under a defensive-minded coach.
We've never had a defensive-minded coach, so for us to eventually get one, I think it's going to be great for the defense and great for the program.
Being a veteran on this OU defense, Washington sees a need to step up in this new system.
I think I kind of took on one last year. I know I got hurt and didn't play much. But just from the sidelines, I led as much as I could. But this year, I think it's a little different because I'm like the leader in the group.
The cornerback has SEC ties, and he explained what that means for OU.
Definitely, I love that move because, I mean, I've been watching SEC ball my whole entire life. And for the school that I went to be able to play in that conference is definitely great.
Washington and the OU defense look to get back on track after finishing 6th in the Big 12 in total defense. Reporting from AT&T Stadium, Stone Weber, OU Nightly.
Woody Washington has had a spectacular season thus far, but this weekend he has his hands full.
Yeah, he's going to be going up against Iowa State wide receiver Xavier Hutchinson, who is leading the league in receiving yards per game with a little over 108. Hallie Moss has more on the star wide receiver.
Even with the departure of Brock Purdy and Breece Hall, there is still a shining star on the Iowa State offense. Senior wide receiver Xavier Hutchinson, an NFL draft prospect, led the Big 12 in receptions last year and is looking to improve his game one catch at a time.
My goals every single year is just to beat whatever I did last year. So, you know, if that's 86 catches, 87 catches, if that's 988, if that's 6 touchdowns, you know, I consider that a successful career because I beat what I did last year.
Hutchinson was used to playing with Purdy but has no worries about new quarterback Hunter Decker.
I think Hunter's terrific. He's a guy who can sling the ball anywhere and everywhere he needs it to be. He has exceptional arm talent. He can throw the ball deep with ease. So, you know, just seeing that growth in him, you know, that's a receiver's dream to be able to be there.
As for the future, Xavier says he's happy with wherever he ends up as long as he's playing football. But being back home in Florida would be a plus. Reporting from AT&T Stadium, Hallie Moss, OU Nightly.
I'm excited to see how a struggling OU defense is going to go up against such a talented wide receiver.
Right, hopefully Brent Venables and company has an answer for Xavier, but we'll just have to see on Saturday.
Well, that's all from Ames, Iowa. For Jimmy Wicks, I'm Parker Abels, OU Nightly.
Thanks, guys. Well, let's go ahead and check out some of the other Big 12 football games happening this weekend. Undefeated TCU is traveling up to Morgantown for an 11 a.m. kickoff against West Virginia.
And Oklahoma State takes on the K-State Wildcats at 2:30, while Baylor travels to Lubbock for a 6:30 kickoff against Texas Tech tomorrow night.
And now, former Sooner legends hope to bring the magic to NFL stadiums this week.
Leading the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts faces the Steelers on Sunday, and CeeDee Lamb will suit up for the Cowboys against the Bears. And after a tough offseason, former Heisman winner Baker Mayfield has been benched by the Panthers, while Kyler Murray looks to lead the Cardinals to a victory over the Vikings. Now, you know, it's hard for me to hear that Baker Mayfield, one of our own, is getting benched. What do you think, Brooklyn?
It's tough hearing that a former Sooner star is not being able to start and that a second-string quarterback is coming in and taking all his glory.
I know. Well, you know, something we need to look at is the upcoming Oklahoma football stars. Back in the studio this week is our very own Brigg here to break down some hometown games.
High school football is heating up across the state. Brigg, what's the latest?
That's right, guys. Hometown heroes prevailed on Thursday night high school football. First, we head up the I-35 corridor as the Moore Lions host the 9-0 Bixby Spartans. The only thing the Moore Lions had going for them was the chili cook-off, and man, was it good. It was Cale Fugate's world, and we were just living in it. Fugate took control of the game early with a 60-yard pick six, but he didn't stop there, unleashing his inner Spartan for 4 total interceptions, 2 offensive touchdowns, and 2 pick sixes. The Spartans find baby Gronk Luke Haas for a monster touchdown. The ref missed plenty of calls on the field, but couldn't miss hitting me. Bixby takes the dub over Moore 64-7 and win their 58th straight game. Next, we head south 7 miles for some 2A action as the Community Christian Royals host the Crooked Oak Roughnecks. The Roughnecks couldn't rough up Royals QB Zach Darden as he opens up the game with an 80-yard house call. The Royals didn't stop there as Michigan State commit Bai Joby finds the end zone, and the Royals take down the Roughnecks 48-6. See you next week for Thursday Night Lights.
Thanks, Brigg. And coming up on Big Friday Sports, what one player thinks about Porter Moser's second season.
And how his coaching style has changed from last year. And the OKC Thunder has been on fire at home this week, but can they keep that win streak alive? Up next on Sports.
Anticipation is rising high over at the Lloyd Noble Center as the men's basketball season approaches.
No longer a Sooner rookie, OU Nightly's Carly Murray talks about how head coach Porter Moser is going into this year.
It is year 2 for Porter Moser as Oklahoma's head basketball coach. After a 7-11 record last year in the most competitive basketball conference and missing the NCAA tournament, the Sooners are locked in and ready for the season to begin.
We're very talented, we're very young and old at the same time, and so we're going to have guys who are contributing that are, freshmen and all the way up to, several veteran seniors who, can help out and kind of guide the way.
Since 2018, Porter Moser has 6 NCAA tournament wins and a memorable Final Four run in 2018. He certainly brings intensity to the court.
Obviously, there's going to be days where you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you think he's coming at you, but just kind of staying grounded and remembering that, nothing is personal. He's really just trying to make us better, and if he's getting on you, that means he really just cares.
Headed into year 2, one thing hasn't changed.
Same intensity. I don't think he'll ever lose that.
Moser seems to be enjoying himself a little bit more this season.
He's definitely a little more relaxed, though. I mean, he brings it every day in practice. There's no doubt about that in the way he coaches, but you get vibes that he's having more fun this year, which is awesome. And so that's been really good, just to kind of be able to connect with him on more of a personal level and joke around with him, outside of basketball. And so that's been huge, and I think it has to do everything with him having a year under his belt.
The Sooners open the regular season at the Lloyd Noble Center on Monday, November 7th against Sam Houston at 7 p.m. Reporting outside Lloyd Noble Center, Carly Murray, OU Nightly.
And Carly's right, this season is looking a little bit different for the Sooners. I know they just had their exhibition game, which went really well against OCU.
It really did. They had a fantastic showing. They shined bright against those OCU stars. I'm excited about this upcoming season. What about you?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to another season with Porter Moser. And now OU men's golf is wrapping up its fall schedule this weekend at the Kaanapali Classic in Hawaii. Number 2, Oklahoma played the 9th toughest schedule this season, adding the Kaanapali Classic to the list. Freshman Drew Goodman is currently tied for first at 5 under. OU soccer fell flat last night against Texas, losing 3-1. But the Sooners are shaking off the loss and focusing on the Big 12 championship this weekend.
That's right. Oklahoma ended the regular season ranked 6th in the Big 12 and punched their ticket to Round Rock, Texas for the Big 12 tournament. They'll be looking for a victory over Texas Tech on Sunday in the quarterfinals. And Oklahoma volleyball has been on a downfall lately with 6 straight losses. The Sooners are headed to Lawrence to face Kansas once again. After being shut out during their first matchup, OU hopes to defeat the Jayhawks on their home turf Sunday.
The Thunder is lighting up the court with 2 straight wins against the Clippers. On Thursday night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put up 24 points to clip LA, 118-110. OKC plays in Dallas tomorrow night against the Mavericks, who are coming off an overtime win against the Nets.
Well, Brooklyn, I know you're from the Dallas area. How do you think this matchup is going to go between the Thunder and the Mavs?
I think it could go either way, but I think it's going to be a great game tomorrow night between the two.
Well, I'm definitely excited. Thanks for watching Big Friday Sports live from Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We hope you have a spooktacular Halloween weekend filled with some Sooner football. I'm Brooklyn Sweet.
I'm Emily Faith. Good night.